Welcome back everyone to another episode of Vegetarian Cooking with JJ. In this week's episode, I'm traveling to Japan in my kitchen and I'm going to be making a fully Japanese inspired meal. The first dish I'm going to be making is a Miso Glazed Eggplant, also known as nasu dangaku. The next dish I'm going to be making is a Japanese spinach salad, known as spinach ohitashi. And the final dish I'll be making is a teriyaki tofu to complete our Japanese-inspired meal. I'm really excited to get started, so without further ado, let's head over to the kitchen and get cooking! I'm going to be using 3 small eggplants. Be sure to cut off the stems and the bottoms, and I'm cutting them lengthwise. I could not locate any Japanese eggplant or even Chinese eggplant, therefore I'm using these smaller eggplants. Once you got your eggplants all sliced up lengthwise, we're going to place them over a colander, over a bowl, and we're going to salt them thoroughly. This will help to extract the liquid and also tone down the bitterness. While our eggplants are draining, we can prepare our miso glaze. So we'll add 3 tablespoons of organic white miso paste to this dish. Now I'm adding 1 tablespoon of mirin. I'm adding 1 tablespoon of sake, some of it already spilled into the dish, FYI. 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar. 1 tablespoon of raw sugar. You can substitute this with agave or maple syrup if you like. Once you start to mix it up, you'll probably want to add more mirin, sake, and rice vinegar. So I'm going to add 1 more tablespoon of mirin. It's best to add these liquids in tablespoons. 1 more tablespoon of sake. And 1 final tablespoon of rice vinegar. We want to obtain a workable consistency so that we can brush on our miso glaze. It's okay if it's a little on the thick side. We also want to make sure to stir it until it's mostly smooth. Our eggplants have drained for a while now, so we're patting them dry. And we're going to cut the white fleshy part of our eggplants in a crisscross fashion. Feel free to do this before the draining process. This will help to absorb the flavors from our glaze and also create a nice look. We're preheating our oven to 425 Fahrenheit. Now we're brushing our eggplant with sesame oil. Place them face down on a parchment-lined baking sheet and pop them in the oven for 20 minutes or so, or until the flesh is soft. While our eggplant is in the oven, I'm slicing up some green onion for our garnish. And we're going to create ribbons from our basil leaves. Using basil makes it easily accessible for people to try out if there's no shiso around. The herb shiso has a combination of a minty, licoricey, citrusy, and a little bit of a bitter taste combined. If you cannot locate this herb, feel free to use basil. I'm trying to make it easy for everyone. This herb belongs to the mint family, but it has its own unique taste. Much like mint though, it's great for digestive problems for the stomach, and in traditional Japanese medicine, it is used as an antidepressant, believe it or not. If you do get a chance to try this herb out, feel free to drop me a line in the comments below and share your experience. Now the flesh of our eggplants has softened up, so it's time to brush on our miso glaze. On the inside, of course. Now you're going to want to set the oven temperature to broil 500 Fahrenheit. Brush your miso glaze on the cut side of the eggplant generously. This will only need a few minutes in the oven. Once it's bubbling away, you'll know it's ready. To keep things simple, I'm showing the recipes separately, so we're now on to our Japanese spinach salad. We're going to blanch our spinach now for our Japanese spinach salad. Have your bowl of ice water ready. For our sauce, we have boiled our kelp sheet in 1/2 cup of water. I'm adding 1 tablespoon of mirin and 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. You're welcome to leave the kelp sheet in if you wish to, or you can remove it. We squeezed out our blanched spinach as thoroughly as possible, and we're pouring over our liquid mixture from our small pot. You're going to want to let this marinate in the fridge covered for about an hour or so. Feel free to prepare this ahead of time. Now we have 1 block of firm tofu we're going to cut up into cubes for our teriyaki tofu. We have cornstarch on a plate here, and we're coating our tofu cubes in cornstarch. Next, we're coating our cubes in garlic and onion powder. And we're going to dry fry them on a non-stick pan. Be sure to flip them so they get brown on all sides as much as possible. We're adding our teriyaki sauce into a heated pan, and we're adding some sake and some mirin. Reduce the heat to low once it starts bubbling, and we're going to add in our cooked tofu cubes. Make sure they're fully coated. And you will start to notice that the sauce is thickening up. Now our teriyaki tofu is done. You may also want to cook some plain rice as well. Rice is a staple in Japan, and as for bread, it's not so popular in Japan. Between the years of 1185 and 1868, more or less, samurais were paid in rice. Also, taxes were paid in rice as well. The reason behind this was because they didn't want people to get rich and greedy and mismanage funds, and they just thought it was going to be a more peaceful system this way. One's status at that time depended on how much rice they were able to produce. Now it's plating time, so we're adding our miso glazed eggplant, our Japanese spinach salad, and our teriyaki tofu. Now we're going to garnish our eggplant with our green onions and our basil. And I dry toasted our sesame seeds on a pan, and I'm sprinkling them on all of our dishes. I'm also adding our green onions to our teriyaki tofu. It's that time again, everyone. I get to try our delicious Japanese meal. We got our miso glazed eggplant, our Japanese spinach salad, and our teriyaki tofu. No cheating with the chopsticks. I'll try not to. I'm gonna put the plate under me, just in case. Flavor is awesome with our miso glazed tofu. It's perfectly cooked. The caramelization really adds to the flavor. The basil is really nice. Of course, next time I'm going to try it with the Shiso. I'm going to try the spinach salad next. The kelp provides a fishy flavor with the spinach salad, so keep that in mind if you're not a fan of the fishy flavor. Next, I'm going to dive into our teriyaki tofu. Woo! It was a slippery one. Since I chose to use a pre-made teriyaki sauce, it really helped to add the mirin as well as the sake. We have a beautiful combination of flavors with the saltiness, that from the sea flavor, as well as the sweetness, a really nice balance. I hope you've enjoyed these recipe ideas inspired by Japan. If you know of any friends or perhaps family even that make these types of dishes, I'm always interested to hear from you. Also, feel free to share your personal experience if you try these recipes out for yourself. And remember, if you like this video in any way, shape, or form, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to my channel, hit that little bell notification icon so you don't miss a single video. There's gonna be a new video popping up at 8 a.m. Eastern, so you don't wanna miss it, because we're traveling the globe in my kitchen and keeping things interesting in my kitchen and in yours. Bon appetit. She sells Shiso at the super seaside shop. She sells Shiso at the super seaside shop. She sells Shiso at the super seaside shop. She. She sells Shiso. She sells She sells Shiso. She sells Shiso. She sells Shiso at the super seaside shop. She sells Shiso at the super seaside shop. She sells Shiso at the super seaside shop. We're gonna blanch our spinach now. Have a bowl of ice water ready for plunging into.